This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good morning, Inner Circle. Inner Circle Unite. We are smack dab right in the middle of our series, How to Find Your Next Deal. And we got some great guests on the line here today. We'll get to them in just a second. Just a couple of quick announcements here. If you have not registered for the 3-day Find and Fun seminar this weekend, make sure you do. We got nicer flyers printed up, but this is the agenda. Holy smokes, guys. We have a powerhouse of presenters, and we're just going to blow it all out. I think this is going to be probably one of the best organized and best content-wise event that we've ever put on. I'm so excited to do this. The last couple of events, I didn't speak very much. I was just kind of playing the MC role, and I'm speaking a lot more, and I just finalized all my presentations. My gosh. That, along with the other speakers, we're just going to have an absolute blast. I cannot wait to do that. I wish I could start it tomorrow. We got just a dynamite crew that's speaking. We got a lot of folks coming. I'm just really, really excited to put this event on, guys. So if you haven't registered for that, make sure you do. On Saturday, we're going to have a VIP lunch for Inner Circle members, for current Inner Circle members. And on Saturday night, after the event, we're going to have a VIP happy hour for Inner Circle members as well. So make sure you're there. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. Lots of great information. You know, guys, sometimes people come to these things 3, 4, 5 different times because you're always going to pick up a couple different things. You're always going to pick up something else or want to take action on something. And we got a little bit of feedback there, but it just went away. So yeah, I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked. Okay, we definitely got some feedback there. If you're calling in, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, if you're calling in, please mute yourself. But I'm super stoked. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be amazing. Then I guess just a couple more announcements here. We have Southside Investment Club is going to have one more meeting this year. That's going to be in November. Craig Smith is going to be talking at that. So make sure you come on out to that. That's going to be the last SSIC meeting of the year. I cannot believe how fast this year has gone by. It's insane. But we still have a lot left of this quarter. So there's still a lot more real estating we can do. But it is time to talk about the Christmas party in September. It is, I believe, the 5th. Hold on one second. I should have, a good presenter might have had this pulled up in advance. But Craig's event, I'm sorry, in November is the 8th, and in December it's the 3rd. It's this SSIC Christmas party. It's the 3rd. I think we're doing it again at Llewellyn's in Webster. So that's just for SSIC vendors, for Inner Circle folks, and people really close to SSIC. It's always a blast. It's always a good time. Make sure you come out to that and bring your party hat. We give out some awards, and it's just a good time. So make sure you're there. Inner Circle Live is not this Monday, but next Monday. Our mastermind is the 29th. That is the last Monday of the month. So it's the 29th here at my office. That should also be very good as well. And I think that's about the end of the announcements that I have, other than, yeah, Wednesday webinar next Wednesday, the 24th. So, yeah, let's get back to our series, guys. How to find your next deal. We've covered a lot of ground on some free things we can do, a lot of ground on some research things that we can do. By no means are we done yet, but we're going to get into direct mail today, and I got Corey and Ryan on the call with us. How you doing, guys?
Hey. So can you see us well? Is everything, all the audio coming in good?
I can hear you, but I can't see it. Do you have your web camera going?
Yeah, the web camera is on. Let me go ahead and boom. How about this?
Let's see.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Looks like it's going. As you said, a good presenter Like we should have had this ready. Let's see here. Says it's doing it.
Well, you guys aren't all that much in the Looker department anyway, so
That's very
we're
good.
not here.
Yeah,
We're not here to do a fashion thing. We're here to learn about direct mail. So how about this? Because I know you guys have got some things prepared. I'm gonna ask a couple questions to begin with, and then you guys got some things. I'm gonna give you the presenter keys here real quick. So okay. So I've made you a presenter. You can share your screen.
Fantastic. And let me see, I wanted to. Now, because we can share the REI print mail here. Let me go ahead and do that.
Yeah, share your screen. And then while you're doing that, let me give you guys a quick introduction here. So Graphics Connections, if you guys don't know, they're a vendor at the Southside Investment Club. They've been for years. The owner and president, Jeff Carlton, has spoken at Southside Investment Club many times, has handled mailings for me over the years, handles all of my print stuff, and I actually have some of this out right now. If you guys can, hey, there you go, the two Chrome Domes. So I've got door hangers that Graphics Connections printed up. I've got flyers that Graphics Connections printed up. For those of you that hang around my office at all, you know, for not that much money, I got some really good, this is a folder, okay? So when I go to someone's house, I have all of my stuff, and we've definitely covered this on our webinars before. Go back and check if you need it. But like what we bring to the house, right? Our contract, our testimonials, our cover letter, repair sheet estimates, and you know, things that we need to bring into the house. We have this here. We'll bring our flyer, our business cards, and we look like a really good company, you know. And a lot of you guys know this, but I have the way that we position our company is we're a small family-run company that's done some pretty big things here in St. Louis. That's kind of the feel that we have. But at the same time, when we meet with people, it's nice to have something professional like this to kind of really show a little bit about what we do, and that yeah, we are a small family-run company, but you know, we've got a couple bucks and we're able to buy your house. So it just makes for a little bit better presentation. So anything from pens to hats to shirts to anything that you can put your logo on to direct mail is what they do, and they've helped us out over the years tremendously, done stuff behind the scenes, and it's been a really good partnership here. But recently, these two guys have gotten interest in becoming the main reps for Southside Investment Club because they are awesome at what they do, and they really wanted to get aggressive and help a lot of our membership out. So we've been meeting behind the scenes for the last couple months here, and are ready to roll out some of the things that we've been working on, and that's kind of what we're doing here tonight. They are champions at direct mail. They're champions at anything print collateral, any giveaway items, things like that. I know a lot of us have other businesses, like some of us might be realtors, some of us might be mold remediation people, some of us might have our own construction company or anything like that. These guys aren't just real estate, they do it all. But tonight we are talking about real estate. So the last meeting that we had was kind of like the finalization of all the things that we've been talking about for the last couple months. And it was really neat. I got to go out to their facility in Chesterfield. And I got to tell you, man, my dad was a printer I used to go to work with my dad during the summertime. Every once in a while, I'd go to work in Clayton with him, and they had the big printing presses, and they had the big slicers, and they had the collators, and they had all that kind of stuff. It kind of brought me back because they've got that same stuff, only it's modern. Like they got high tech stuff, man. They can pump out some color photos or some color print collateral, and their collators, and it's all sectioned off, almost hermetically sealed. Like you got to go in wearing masks into some of these printing rooms and everything. It's pretty legit what they got. We saw their entire facility, and then they catered in some steak and shake, and we had a really good meeting. So I asked them then if they could share some of their wisdom with us on one of our webinars, and that's what we're doing here tonight. So you guys, why don't you just take it over, and hopefully I gave you a good enough introduction, but you can fill in the blanks right there.
Yeah, thank you very much. So so you can see us, right?
Yep.
All right, great. So when it's time, we're going to just to kind of outline the discussion. What we were thinking is a frequently asked questions, and because we get a lot of that, and so kind of go over the questions, and then after that, kind of explain how to do an order on your URL through our REI, printmail.com, and kind of start there. So hi guys. I am a senior account representative and direct mail specialist with an idea about what me and Corey do is every day that we come to work, we talk to real estate investors all day long. That's all we do. And we only discuss direct mail campaigns. Kind of makes us an expert of sorts, because every day we talk to different real estate investors across the nation about what's working, what's not working, the messages that are resonating with their customers and their prospects, what's not hitting. And marketing is a wheel, so it changes. And so we stay abreast of that, and we kind of figure out what the best strategy is to make the phone ring. So essentially, that's what we do. We help make. That's all we do every day. So I kind of took the spotlight.
Yeah, I forgot to say one of the main reasons. Well, not the main reasons. I mean, you're innovative, and your customer service speaks volumes. A lot of the things that you do, but you guys do some of the other coaching programs. I mean, a lot of the competitors, the big boys that people spend $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to be in their coaching programs, you do a lot of those folks' mailers from around the country. I mean, thousands of people. So, and you're talking to them, so you really do have a really good handle of what's going on and what's working in other parts of the country. But the great thing is you're local. You're right here. So if you need to go and actually have a face-to-face meeting with you, you can just pop on down in Chesterfield Valley and do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can meet with me or Corey anytime. And, we're happy to give our contact information. And hopefully, but just to give you an idea, yeah, we have somewhere around 7,000 customers nationwide for just real estate mail. That's not including, we're a commercial printer as well, so we print ink on anything. But ultimately, we have 7,000 or so customers for just in the REI space. And then we do right now, we're probably about up to about 1 million pieces of mail a month for just the real estate space. So yeah, we definitely have the inside knowledge on what's working, what's not, and how to make the phone ring. That being said, I'll let Corey introduce himself.
Hello guys, Corey Meeker with Graphic Connections Group, part of a about 30-year-old direct mail specialist company. And Ryan and I are kind of outline some question and answer kind of things, and then we're going to take you through how to place an order using Nick's URL. And one of the first questions is, why should you use direct mail?
So we actually get this question a lot. People call us, and they'll say that it's expensive, and they'll say I haven't had much success with it. And so, the short answer of it is, why use direct mail, especially in the real estate spaces, to make the phone ring? And so a lot of times people don't have the greatest success because they try to recreate the wheel, and they try to maybe over design a card, or they try to put too much into a letter, that kind of thing. And so knowing what works and knowing the kind of designs that hit, we're able to kind of walk them through what's working right now, and specifically in a lot of cases in their own county or in their own state. Things hit differently on different income levels. So if you're going to $500,000 homes, that design is much different than if you're going to, let's say, $125,000 to $150,000 homes. So that has to be considered.
Very good.
I
Well
like to
said.
say this too because check this out, guys. When I like how you said that you over design something or you overthink a card. Check it out. If a homeowner is maybe behind in a couple payments, or maybe they inherited a house and they don't want to go have to cut the grass every weekend, or they've got a bunch of deferred maintenance on the house that they've never done, and the house needs a lot of work, and they're just like, man, how do I do this? I want to move, but I don't have the opportunity to go ahead and fix up this house, and how am I going to get this done? If that's what's on their mind, they could give two shits about what your logo looks like.
Exactly.
And excuse my language, but it's really the case. They don't care, right? What's the message? I'm going to borrow that from Damon Remy. Damon said that, but he's like, it doesn't matter what your logo looks like. It doesn't matter what, if it's printed this way or if it's printed this way, or if you've got starbursts here or whatever. What's the message? That's getting the right message to the right folks is the entire name of the game.
That's right,
That's
Nick.
right.
And then also not to forget about consistency, because in any direct mail campaign or any marketing campaign, consistency is the key. And how a lot of people fall off, and one of the biggest boo-boos in direct mail is, I'm going to send out one mailer to 100 people and see what happens. And that's the very worst thing that you can do when you're very first starting out.
I've done that. I've done that.
Yeah.
Well, and you actually, to speak on that, when you're doing a really specific niche, and you've only got 200 really specific, super targeted leads, that's one thing. When you're doing your due diligence, when you're driving and you write down 100 addresses and you're going to send out 100 pieces of mail. Let me give you for instance. When you do less than 200 pieces of mail, you have to pay more postage because you can't use marketing mail, which is only 27 cents. You have to spend 40 or 50 cents to send out that. So literally, you're giving your money to the government instead of putting it on the ground, which could literally turn money into your pocket. So a lot of times people will call us and they'll say that. Me and Corey often say, we're a company. We don't want to say no to money, but we'd rather you keep it and save until you can get to that 500 unit mark, so that we can get marketing mail prices and really make your marketing dollars work for you, because that's one of our jobs. We got to make your money stretch, and we need to make sure that statistically you're going to be able to close a few deals based on the paper that you put out.
So so you just brought up a whole slew of things that came into my mind. One of them is well, now they've all left my mind because it's kind of like in the day.
Story of my life.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, obviously, I've done that before where, hey, I'm going to send out 200 letters, and then I'll buy a house, and then I'll send out 400 letters and I'll buy another house. That's not, I guess maybe it's possible, but it's not very plausible that that's going to happen unless you have a very super targeted list. It's a very specific thing that you're going after. That might work. Maybe, there's not as many probate filings. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's something very specific to foreclosures or something. But maybe divorce or something. But I mean, it really, that's not the thing. And I like what you said about consistency, because with direct mail, you have the opportunity to actually form a relationship with someone before they actually call. Okay. So this as much as I do, but when you get mail, I have some pieces here today actually on my desk that I literally, even at the office, I stand over my trash can and I throw stuff in the bill pile. I throw stuff in the trash can if it looks junky. And the whole thing with direct mail is creating awareness. They might not realize that there's a solution out there for their problem. They might not realize that there's really people like us that could buy their house. They just think, oh my gosh, I don't want to list it with a realtor. I don't want to have to go through open houses, but maybe that's my only option. you might be able to, if you can get your piece of mail opened, which is what you're going to talk about, some cool things we can do to actually get that open, you can actually form a relationship with them. It's kind of like buying options, though. You got to hit them at the right time, because they might save it. They might put it up on their on a magnet on their refrigerator, but maybe they don't want to call you right now. Maybe in 3-4 weeks, when they get another piece of mail, they say, hey, you know, this person actually does maybe want to buy my house. Maybe after the third mailing or so, and you've gotten a nice relationship built with them, maybe now, okay, maybe I'm going to give this person a call, because, you know, you sent me 3 of them. I'm you know, I feel like I've kind of gotten a sense of what he does. Let me give him a call, see if it might help me out. And I think starting that relationship, you can't do that necessarily in very many other marketing platforms. Maybe Facebook you could, but
the only difference is with Facebook, you know, you can unsubscribe or you can stop getting messages.
Right.
It's actually rather difficult to unsubscribe people mailing to your mailbox. And so you constantly have that, you know, that ability to reach out to people.
So that kind of goes along with the thing. Like, a lot of times, you know, someone might not call until your second or third mailing. And if your strategy is, I'm going to send out 200 letters one time and see if it works, well, I got news for you. That's not going to work. And it's because I've tried it. I've done that before, years ago. And I get it, because sometimes money is tight, and you think of marketing as an expense. Excuse me. But in reality, marketing is an investment, because if you spend time with these guys and you say, okay, listen, I want to buy two houses from this mailer. How many pieces of mail do I have to send out? And you walk it back. I'm just going to throw numbers out there. Say it's $4,000 that you got to spend on a mail campaign to buy 1 or 2 houses, and you can make $20,000 on each one. Who's not going to spend that money?
That's
right?
Well, and to keep in mind, if you send out mailers and you get a 0.5% return, which isn't that great, but it's not that bad. But if you get a 0.5% return, you got 20 phone calls. If you're inside of a decent closer, if you're okay at the setting a meeting practice, and you're okay at closing the deal practice, so you get 20 phone calls, you could set 8 meetings. If you could set 8 meetings and you could close 2 of those deals, if you can close 2 of those deals and you're making $10,000, you make $20,000. And then at the same time, if we were paying 50 cents a mailer, 4,000, you paid $2,000 for that, and you made 20,000. So you netted, you know, $18,000, not including other expenses, or really gross, but still ultimately it's totally worth it. And that's what makes mail such a powerful tool in your toolkit, and the REI space. And we see it all day. We see it all day long. We see people 100, and within 6 weeks, 8 weeks, they're doing 4,000 a month, and then suddenly they're doing 2,000 a week, and they realize and they get it, and they find that marketing piece, and they crack that code. That's what we're here for, to help you crack that code. But if you can crack that code and you can be confident about putting your money into that investment, then you know all you're doing is investing in making the phone ring.
So let's talk about that, because the close ratio is the biggest thing, the biggest difference that I see between newer investors and seasoned investors, people that get the game. And the approach that I always have is, and in fact, guys, at the 3-day event, excuse me, we're going to spend a lot of time on phone scripting. And you're going to see the reason why, if we get 20 leads here in the office, while we're going to have a higher percentage, if it's a deal, we're going to have a higher percentage of buying a house than if someone brand new gets 20 leads, because we know how to talk it. We have a follow-up system in place. We've got scripts, you know, and we don't make it scripty, but you know, it's a sales. If you send out mail piece, this is a sales position, and you gotta understand how to talk to someone on the phone. And if you're afraid of sending out mail because, well, what happens if someone calls?
Yeah.
You need to learn how to do that, and we've definitely got some trainings on this And actually through Scott actually is on the call. Scott inspired me, and I think Scott just sent some mail out through you guys. But Scott,
Is that Scott Powers? Is that no?
Delaplane.
Oh yeah, Scott, absolutely, one of my clients. Hey, Scott,
What's up, Scott?
Yeah, he's on. Yeah, so he inspired me to kind of we have our call lead sheet that we've been using for Inner Circle forever. It works. It totally works. If you've been using it, you're not wasting your time. You know what? What can you guys turn off your webcam?
Turn it off.
Yeah, for a second, because you're kind of getting a little choppy, and it's
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, just share your screen again.
All right.
I got a message saying that it was getting a little choppy.
Where?
Well, it's sharing the screen.
Anyway, let me get back to Scott. He inspired me to update our call, our lead sheet, basically, our intake form. And so I got to cracking on that, and I just, you know, if you guys need a copy of it in advance, I'll give it to you. I was going to release it at the 3-day event. If you guys need it now, I'll certainly give it to you. I've already given it to Scott and given it to a couple other people. And it's available on SSIC Inner Circle, but if you need a copy of it, I can certainly give you a copy of it. The questions that we ask people and how we go about doing that is really what's going to set you apart from someone else that's just doing their first couple mailers and they're just like, oh, someone called, you have a house? Yeah, I'll be right there. Let me go take a look at it. You know, you don't want to, maybe in the beginning, you want to go on every appointment because you got to learn and make your mistakes on the houses that don't really mean that much, because the last thing you want to do is learn on a house that, hey, I really want to buy this house because I think I can do pretty well with it. And then they went with someone else because it just seemed like you didn't know what you were doing. That's a whole other training that we got to go through, but you touched on it, and so that's really the difference. And if you have a fear of doing that, call me up. Let's do some role playing. Let's get that call script out, and I'll show you. It's not that hard. These people just want help, and if you can provide that service to them and really come from that contribution space, it's really not that hard. But
and that's what, and just like when you're speaking with your voice and you're trying to close the deal, absolutely, you have to be good on the phones in this business. There's no doubt about it. And what we do is we help you either speak through a letter or speak through the mail. And a lot of people just don't know how to do it. And I know it sounds simple, and I know it sounds like, hey, I could do this. I could sit down. I could write a letter. Not a big deal. And then when no response comes in, it becomes difficult. It becomes hard to think, well, gosh, I can't spend all this money and then not get any return. We kind of, because like you were mentioning, you're going to earn your tuition one way or another. Tuition in sales, you're going to earn your tuition in the REI market. You've learned, and either one, it's going to be with money, or two, it's going to be with people like yourself that are going to coach and they're going to tell people, I made these mistakes, don't make the same mistakes as I did. And so, that's what we do with the direct mail process. We know that it works. The problem is, if you go out on your own and you just try to shoot out the paper and you're basically spraying and praying and hoping for the best result, I want to kind of avoid that as much as possible and put a strategy to that and a technique to that, and we can tell you what's working, so that helps a lot. And monitor your response.
Let's do that, because I think this might be one of the hardest activities to do when it comes to being a real estate investor. It's one of the hardest activities. Okay, what list do I get? What message do I want to send? How many pieces do I want to do? Is this going to work? Okay, I heard from somebody that this list is what I want to do. So you go to try to find that list and you can't find it. And then like, okay, well, then maybe it's this message that I need to do. And then you try to find that. It really is one of the, it's actually a pretty simple process. You pick a list, you put some postcards or letters together, and you send it out. And you guys can help make that really simple. So let's talk about how let's actually dive into there and show what that looks like, because I know, I just, even from experience, guys, I get this too. It is one of the harder things to do, to commit to doing it, and you have to commit to do it in order to get that thing out, because it just doesn't happen. You don't just pick up a phone call and then all of a sudden 4,000 letters are going to be spewed across St. Louis. It's not that easy. That you guys can help make it really easy, but at the same time, you have to have the mindset that this is going to work. Other people do it. Yes, other people are doing it in our market, but it does work. I need to get leads, and I need to get unique leads to me. So let's talk about that and how we can do that, and especially with that link that we set up for SSIC, how they can get a discount.
Yeah, absolutely. So REI print mail, and I want to see if I know you can see me right now. Can you see this if I move this over?
Yes, and in fact, I would actually. You are still a little choppy. I'd maybe just shut your webcam down and just hit X on it. Yeah, just talk.
All right, absolutely. So reiprintmail.com/launch/SSIC. So that is how you can get to your URL, Nick. And so,
hey guys, I don't know if I can see your screen anymore, though. Can anyone else see their screen?
Let's share the screen.
Well, let's see. But see, it's the only way they can see. Let's see if this helps. Sorry,
Yeah,
we usually don't.
I can see your screen now.
Is this good? All
Yeah.
right, so let's do launch. All right, so there you are. And so basically, after you, and that's the first thing you have to do. You have to go here and you have to register. And it's like anything else. You have to pick a screen name and you have to pick a password. Usually your username's your email. You pick your password. There's our new graphic or our new GC Power Mail. So you input this information. Now, after you do that, what I'm going to do actually.
And what's that URL that they can do that?
Yeah. So that's reiprintmail.com/launch/SSIC. That's
Okay.
right. We can see that.
Go ahead and put that in the chat if you could, in the chat box.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Let me do that really quick. I am. How about that? Look at that. There it is. So what I'm going to do, because I didn't want to confuse you and sign up as one of your students, I'm going to go ahead and I'm signed in here. You can see. So I've already signed in, and we can go down here. It's really important when you first start the process to kind of look at what we're doing up here in the top. So we have two new products, not necessarily new. AccuPix isn't necessarily new. GC Power Mail is new. We've had AccuPix for about a year. These are proprietary products. Both of them are very powerful. We could talk more about them later. And you can see the deals that we're giving. There's usually offers up here that are very aggressive, especially with our new products. So don't just go past that. Take a look at it. Could be very valuable to you. So let's just do a general.
Which, by the way, let me stop you just for a second. I play around with this all the time. This is a really slick setup that you have here. This, seriously, like, this is, you can't make it much easier than this. This is really cool.
Well, for pricing. So when you go, hey, I wonder how much it would cost me to do X. This is a great site for that. Just come here, play with it, sign in, make sure to do it under the link we provided. But come here, play around, and then you get an idea of what you can do for how much money you have. Just to kind of give you an idea, here under step 1, I entered a quantity of 750. I'm doing that for a reason, so that I can kind of show you the difference in price here. So letters are popular, but let's go to postcards. They're a little bit more popular right now. Let's go ahead and click on that, and then we're going to go down here, and it's gonna give us 3 sizes. We call it small, medium, and large. We're going to go with the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 here. I'm going to click on that. All right. So right now, and as things are popular, we move them up to the very, very front. There's no doubt that APC1-S right now, this one is definitely the most popular card. You can click on it and you get a closer look at it. And so we've got AccuPix here. So it has the receiver's home on the front of the card. So that kind of gets past the trash can. Hey, that's my house. And they have a tendency not to throw it away. So definitely an attention getter. We're going to go ahead and select this one. And so then it's going to automatically take me down to here. Now we've started to make sure that you can't select yourself into a rabbit hole. So it's only going to let us pick white here, which is good. Right, we're going to hit continue. And then now postage, very, very important. So when we look at a first class stamp for such a small card, you can get away with 35 cents each. On a medium card and up, we're at 50 cents. That's just a stamp that you would buy at home and you would put on your card. We have access to it a little bit cheaper, but it's possible to get a first class stamp at 35 cents each there. But we have better options than that. That's a lot of reason why you use a mail house, because we can give you a discount on postage because we know what we're doing. So the pre-sort, which means our machines, our robots, pre-sort everything, which the post office says, hey, if you do some of the work for us, we're going to give you a discount. So ultimately, that's what we do. Our robots kind of sort it, and then that gives us this 27.4 number here. So 27 cents, but you'll notice it's a 500 minimum. I mentioned that before. If you're doing anything under 500, imagine how much money you're leaving on the table. So you do 200 and suddenly you're paying 15, 20 cents more. If you're a medium card, you're paying almost double. So it's really important that you make strategic moves here and don't just take knee-jerk reactions. I'm going to send out 100 pieces. That's where you're going to lose a lot of your paper on the ground. This option here is a pre-sort canceled stamp. This is actually a fake stamp. It's a bit of a rouge. It looks like a real stamp. We put a cancellation across it. It costs 27 cents, but it looks like a real stamp. In a case of a personalized letter, it might look like it's a real stamp. We took the time, we personalized it, and you get a better open rate with it. However, with a postcard, when somebody gets a postcard, they already know, look, this is a solicitation. So I'm not fooled by it. So ultimately, with that pre-sort indicia right here, same price, is what most people choose for a postcard. So after we do that, we're down here to the pricing module. So we can see that we've got a 750 quantity. We can see the size of the card. We can see the description of the card that we picked. And then we can see the postage here and the each. So we can see what price is each. Very important to pay attention to that right now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the quantity, and we're going to see how much more we get by increasing our quantity. So in the printing game, quantity matters. I mean, that's all there is to it. We run things on large sheets. The same amount of people are standing there. Payroll still is the same. So when we run in larger quantities, it's cheaper for you. So as we go up to a quantity of, let's say we're at 750 now. Let's double it to 1500. So we're at 70 cents. If I click on the yellow here, look at how far that went down. We're now at 53 pennies. So we were at 70 cents. All right. So if we were at 70 cents and now we're at 53 pennies, we see how much more bang for the buck we got. We didn't double our money. We only doubled the quantity, and we were able to get a lot more bang for our buck. So quantity matters there. That's why we're very adamant about making sure that people don't make knee-jerk reactions and they get the most bang for their buck, so they make the phone ring in the best way. So in this case, Nick, your coupon code, by the way, is 10. So when somebody signs into your URL, and they can do that through us, they can call, we can walk them through it. But if they put the coupon code 10 in there and they put check, it's going to take a 10% discount off as well. So just by being with SSIC, you get a big discount. That's a lot of money that you're saving. And you can either use that as savings, or you could put more paper on the ground. Personally, if you're looking for a deal, 70 bucks isn't much of savings, when that 70 bucks could maybe net you another deal. That's a huge upside. So after we're done here, let's see, we have to pick a date. So we get this question a lot, by the way. What day of the week is the best day to drop?
Isn't it Sunday?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different studies out there right now, and it changes. So
They don't-
marketing's a
they don't-
wheel; it's a
they don't
cycle.
deliver themselves.
Right now, a lot of the people
Good one, Nick.
a lot of the people are leaning towards Wednesday. Sunday was kind of what it used to be, and now a lot of the statistics are going towards Wednesday. We've heard Friday a lot. Then you have the people that are like, I never drop on Friday. It just doesn't work. Honestly, the thing is, get your mail on the ground. We're happy to accommodate any day that you want to drop, and we'll make sure that we can get it as close to that as possible, being in the best postage rate. But let's just go out here on the 24th, and then we continue to check out. So here on step 8, super, super important. A lot of these fields are going to be, well, and that's why it's called imprint information, on the actual postcard. So you don't want to hurry through this process. Super, super important. You want the phone number to be correct. Look, it's happened. We're good at what we do. We have a lot of campaigns that come through, but we're not perfect. We fix mistakes when we see them happen, but ultimately, you want to make sure that the phone number is correct. That's a great way to not get any phone calls, is to transpose one number for another. So take your time in this area, fill out your first name, your last name, your telephone number. If you have a company name, put it in. Website to show on the letter, any special instructions down here. Make sure that return address is correct too. If you're using first class, you actually get those letters back that you can put into a database and have us remove out of your list, so that you're not sending to bunk addresses. However, we do run everything through the NCOA, which is a national change of address. So we do every list that way. You shouldn't get too many back. As we go down to step 9, if you have a logo, you need to put it in. Mailing list. If we're doing the mailing list for you, you can skip this part. If you have your own mailing list,
we're going to get to the mailing list later in this, but yeah.
Sure. And a letter, if you're doing a letter and you have a personalized letter and you say, look, my message works really well, this is where you would input it. If you have a picture of your signature, some people believe a lot in that. That's where you can upload that. Any other files that you have specific to us, you can upload there. When you're done, it's really simple. It's just the billing information, and we move on from there. You confirm it. So the process after that is that our assistant Heidi, who's amazing, she makes our world go round. She will get with you on the proof, and so you'll actually see a picture of your card front and back. You'll approve it. After you approve, which by the way takes 2 days, usually 1. After you approve it, at that point, then we're on the ground inside of 3 days generally. Now, if you're out of state, it could take an extra few days to get there, but that's the general process. Pretty painless. If it's your first time, or you're not really sure what to do, or you're questioning some of these other cards for specific information or for specific situations, then call us. We'll walk you through the entire process. We'll give you best practices. We'll give you our best advice. For instance, a lot of people wouldn't know that this card, big hitter right now, huge hitter. So instead of just going through and picking and saying, hey, I wonder what's going to work really well. That card hasn't made it to the front yet because it just started hitting in the past few weeks. And for some reason, it's doing really, really, really well. Looks handwritten. You've got some highlighted areas on there, and it looks really personal. So that's doing really well. You wouldn't know that if you didn't talk to us. So we encourage you to call and have us walk you through that. Corey, am I missing anything?
We run every list above 200 mailings through the
To the
NCOA.
NCOA. That's a good point. You have to have over 200 to go to the NCOA and the CAS system.
Best summed it up, Ryan. Good job.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Corey. So that's just the basics, how to go through and place an order. To get that discount, you're going to want to make sure and go through that link. Not everybody gets that. Most don't. So you're going to want to make sure, take that link down, write it down, do whatever you can, save that, and just type that into your browser whenever you're ready to make an order, or tell us if you don't have it. You can call and ask for Ryan or Corey, and we can walk you through and make sure that that you get your disc for SSIC.
Right, and I've got that as well, guys. We've sent it out. We're going to continue to send it out. So for whatever reason, if you don't have it, just call up to the office or email me, and I'll be sure to send it to you as well. But you glossed over a couple things kind of quickly here. Are you going to get back to AccuPix and GC Power Mail?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So at the top of the page where we have some of our highlights here, we have AccuPix, we have GC Power Mail. So first and foremost, for about a year now, we've been partners with Google on our AccuPix mailers. We created an algorithm about a year ago where we take the receiver's home, basically our algorithm, while printing, takes the address, goes into Google Street View, takes the picture of the receiver's home and puts it directly on the mail piece. So at that point, it's an attention getter. It's one more step to get past the trash can. So we've noticed that gets a lot better results than just sending out your regular card, your regular letter, because you can add this to a letter as well. But AccuPix is a great addition to any, and there's an example right there of an actual home. And so AccuPix is only available through us. There are some competitors out there that are trying to do the same thing. They're just not doing what we do with it. They're just not as accurate as we are, and ultimately we have the only partnership with Google. We actually pay Google per picture to be able to do this process. They've recognized that we're the largest distributor, and there you go, right there. It's a great letter too. Looks handwritten, got a nice picture on the front. And a good point there is you can see the tree on there. Not every not every Street View picture is just of the house. So, whenever Google is driving by with that little car, they may drive by when there's a plumbing truck in the way, or where their Bronco is in the way, or something like that. And so you might think, oh, but they can't see the house. But their Broncos in the driveway are right in front blocking the house. And that may be what the attention getter is. They might go, my gosh, that's my house and my Bronco. I remember, that car, and maybe they had sold it since then because Google tends to be behind 4 years or so with the image. But ultimately, it gives a character, and people recognize that. So AccuPix, very, very powerful. You can only get AccuPix with us, and tried and true, proven process. Now, GC Power Mail, very exciting. We've only had that for about, I'm going to go 10 weeks on it. So we're about 10 weeks in to GC Power Mail. So let me explain what GC Power Mail is. It is a text function on any direct mail piece. And what that is a short code at the bottom of, let's just say, for instance, a postcard. So GC Power Mail, at the bottom of a postcard, the message might say, to find out how much I will offer you for your home cash today, text ABCD to 1234. And let's say the prospect goes, all right, I'm going to text that because I don't want to call today, and I wasn't planning on calling in all these cards because you have competition in the mail. I'm not going to call all these cards until next week, but this one's a text message. I would like an instant offer. I'm going to go ahead and text that. So if Nick were the marketer and he had that message on the bottom, two things would happen immediately when that prospect sends that text message, ABCD to 1234. The first thing that happens is that Nick gets an email with a cell phone number captured from that prospect. That is very particular. I mean, cell phone is hard to get. You can buy lists for landlines all day, but let's face it, everybody's cutting the cord, and you're lucky if 20% of them are good. So this is a way to get that cell phone number from your prospect. So immediately Nick would get an email to him or his sales staff or all of the above that would say, John at 1442 Floraville Lane, just text for more information, and here's a cell phone number. At that point, you could actually call right away. So you just text. You could call within minutes and set a meeting. But the second thing that happens is that John the prospect, he gets a text message right away that says within 4 seconds, that says something like, and completely personal to whatever you want the message to be. But it might say something like, John, thank you for your inquiry. I'm very, very interested in seeing your home. I'm out in the field right now. Me or my assistant are going to get in touch with you shortly to set a meeting to come see your property. That primes him for the phone call. So it kind of takes down those guards, takes down the walls, and he's ready for that phone call. And then suddenly the phone rings, you're able to set that meeting. What we found with GC Power Mail is, one, a lot of people like to text more than they like to call. Two, that our clients are setting a lot more meetings. And so that being said, that means you get there first. And in this game, getting there first means a lot. That's a big deal. So if you can get there first and you can create a relationship before anyone else, then suddenly you've got one up on your competition. And by the way, we use GC Power Mail and advertising for us as well. We send out direct mail for our business with GC Power Mail, and we find the same results. People like to text more. So it seems less intrusive. Great product. Right now, that is only 7 pennies more than the regular printing for your direct mail piece. So we find that a lot of the people that use it, in fact, most, find that it's a great value and that they won't be found without it right now. By the way, we did not create the capturing technology. A company did locally that approached us and said, we know the value. We want to be in the REI space. We're going to give you complete exclusivity nationwide on this, so you won't find this product anywhere else. And if someone is telling you that they have this product, they're wrong. It doesn't capture the cell phone. Right now it's patented. I believe they're in the 3rd stage of the patent. So I don't see anybody else creating it. And if you just put your phone number at the bottom of a direct mail piece and said, text me for an offer, how do you know, let's say, where that information is coming from? You don't get the John at 1142 Florida Lane. You don't get that. So you have no idea what property that's at. You just got to call them and go, hi, Mr. Texter, what property are you at? It makes the call a lot less personal, and it makes your closing rate smaller. So that's why personalization is kind of key there in the GC Power Mail. Does that make sense, Nick? Did that resonate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, real quick, I want to add something.
I want to start off saying that, you guys are innovative and focus on customer service. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, these things, I would have never thought that would have worked. And I'm not trying to down on that. I would have never thought to do that. And with the AccuPix, maybe I'm a little different. I save every piece of mail that I get because I put them on my buyer's list. I call them if I want to sell that house. I pay attention to that. And what works, maybe I'll send a mailing like that next time. But the AccuPix, that's a big deal. The GC Power Mail, if that's working for folks, that's a big deal. And those innovative things that you guys can do versus just, let's just send some letters out and see if someone's going to call.
Right. Let's pray and pray. Corey, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I'd like to add something to the GC Power Mail. And so following their personal text message that's responded to them after they send in the short code, you and or your sales staff receives an email saying that said client is at their very warmest and that you have the ability to reach out to them, as Ryan was saying.
Yeah, and the difference in between a cold lead and a warm lead, that's huge. That's massive. So when you receive the email, that's 4 seconds. So they literally just texted and said, I'm interested. And then 4 seconds later, you get an email. The faster you can call, the faster you can get in touch with that person, you're ahead of the game.
Yep.
You're ahead of the game. And so that's what we're finding, especially with the people that send out, the heavy hitters that send out 40,000, 50,000, that spend $100,000 with us a month. Those people, they're using GC Power Mail in a big way. And then sometimes A/B testing different messages to see what's more effective. Because on that, the whole, text this to find out what the offer is on the home, you can personalize that. Curiosity has to kill the cat. At the end of the day, what we want is we just want them to text. If they text, we get their phone number. So if we get their phone number, we're closer to the sale. So you can personalize that in any way that you think might get them to text. We help you with that, and we make suggestions. Of course, we have cookie cutter examples that are working, but we have people every day that are trying new things, and a lot of them are working. So fantastic system there.
So let's go to the $64,000 question. What list do I send to?
Yeah. All right. So we are a list company, and we do provide lists. Our list can range anywhere from 10 cents, maybe 6 cents if you're on a high volume basis, up to, if we're really getting driving down to a particular a niche, they could go as high as $150 for even a small list. But we go over that with you when you call. But the deal is that we specialize in motivated seller lists. So what list to send to? My advice in this is, when you see everybody else start to zig, you've got to zag. Now that's my advice. So everybody's hitting absentee. Well, your competition is 10 times. So if everybody's hitting absentee, then you've got to change it up a bit, and you've got to know what's going on in your industry to know that. And so that's the best tool, really. When something's flooded and everybody's going to probate, in our probate list that we provide, only a certain amount can subscribe to the list. We don't allow too many to subscribe to it for each county. But ultimately, when that becomes really saturated, we want you to zig while everybody else zags. And so we have multiple different options. So really, the answer to that question is, what's going on? What's going on right now? And so that's a hard question to answer. We have our thumb on the pulse. You could call us. We could talk about it. And that's why we're here. You could call and say, hey, what's going on right now? What is everybody doing? Me and Corey probably pulled at least 10 lists today. And the thing is, we know what people are pulling. And sometimes they don't take our advice, and sometimes they do. But I think that's super, super important to not be part of the saturated mess when everybody's going to the same area in the same county. I mean, that's rough. How you gonna get noticed?
And you guys, I mean, that's the thing though, like, you guys, you are the list source. Like, you can provide the list, you can work through that and try to match the list with the message and really dial that in, so that we don't have to go out and try to find a list. We don't have to try to go out and subscribe to some list. You guys have the ability to pull that and say, okay, with the criteria that you gave me, I found X amount of names. Based upon that, I think we should do this.
Yeah, and we can do that inside of a 10-minute phone call, 15-minute phone call it takes to build a list. That's maybe aside from the time it took us to, make a strategy for you. But it takes 10 or 15, 20 minutes for us to go through, pull your county, pull the zip codes that you like, or we can filter on things like equity. So we have 4 different categories. You want 0 to 25% paid off homes. You want 26 to 50% paid off homes, 51% to 75, or 76 to 100% paid off homes. We can tell you how many homes are paid off to that nature in that area. So equity is a popular one, and rightfully so. It's a great place to go fishing when people have room to move. Also, the age of the owner. We could do 55 and up, or we could do 55 and below, depending on what you want to do. Assessed value. It's a slippery slope, and we know assessed value. So for instance, when you're pulling assessed value in some of these areas, a lot of people, if I asked, and we do this all day, but we might ask somebody, all right, what value do you want on your home? That's not the same as the assessed value on your homes. So, well, Ryan, I want to go to 100 to 200,000. All right. If a list provider out there who doesn't know you, that doesn't have a relationship, says the word assessed, Well, what's the assessed value that you want to go to? Well, it depends on which county you're in. In St. Louis County, where we're at right now, it's 19% of the market value. So if that's $100,000, the assessed value of that home is $19,000. So you got to make that clear. So the person who's pulling the list who doesn't know you, that doesn't really know your county, that is in a company that doesn't really care, they'll pull $100,000 homes when they ask for assessed value, and really you're pulling $1 million homes. We see it happen all the time. And so you have to be really careful with your list company, and know if they're asking for market rate or assessed value, and they mess that up all the time. Very, very good point, and be very careful of that.
All right, guys. So we covered a lot of ground today. Does anyone on the call have any questions? Go ahead and type them in or raise your hand. Or Corey, do you got anything else that you want to add to this as well? Ryan's been taking up most of the.
Yeah, sorry, God, I'm sorry.
That's okay. He summed everything up really well. And we are about out of time, but we also have some other options for some of you guys out there that are just now starting out. And that's called the REI Kickstarters. And we've come up with this idea with Nick. Nick actually helped us with this idea. And what it is we help you guys to get a logo, to get some letterhead, get some envelopes, all printed with your logo and your return addresses. That way you look a little more professional when you're out there in the field. And
So
also
we don't see that if you're showing that, because we don't see your webcam anymore.
Let's see here.
There you go.
This
Yeah.
is what it looks like. And if you guys email Ryan or I can send you a PDF. You can choose your logo.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a plugin, and we've got
Under a comment. I know
Yep.
that.
So we got a whole bunch of them. There's different options that you can choose from.
I really like that option.
Okay, this one here,
What's that?
this one includes 2 drops of 250 full color postcards, and also we provide the list. We provide the logo, 5 sticky pads for your doors, 250 your logo, 250 number 10 envelopes with your logo, and also 5. So we stay very intuitive. We like to help out the new guys. We like to help out the big guys. We want to make the new guys become the big guys.
I like that. Can I use that?
Yeah, yeah, you can have it.
You have to sign that.
Guys, in the letterhead on your on a piece of mail here, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool, because for your smaller batch email or mailers, driving for dollars, maybe I've got 50 names. Well, you guys you're not really set up to do that, right? I mean, you could, but let's be honest, that's not what you don't make much money off of that, and you can't add that much more value to it for a 50-piece mailing. But you could hire a teenager, or you could, buy a 6-pack of beer or brew a pot of coffee and just handwrite all the names out and send out to your driving for dollars people. And it looks a little bit better if it's from company letterhead.
Right. It could mean the difference between a deal or not a deal.
I'll put it up there again.
So, we worked really hard on this, and I'm really excited for that, because just again, getting a piece of mail out just seems to be, that's the hardest thing about this process, is getting your mailing out the door. And it's admittedly, it's something I struggle with too. In fact, when we were at your office, I said, I'd like to put some mail in people's door, and I want to put 1,500 to 2,000 mail. And we've talked a couple of times. It's just, I haven't gotten that out yet. It's just, I have a little bit of an excuse. I'm getting ready for the 3-day event. Got a lot of stuff going on.
Right. How big of
Very exciting. Can't wait to be there.
Yeah.
But it's really the case. It's a harder activity to do. One of the harder ones to do, but it's man, if you're struggling to get the phone to ring and all the other stuff that we're talking about with throughout this series. I mean, you can't do all this at once. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm going to say this weekend too. You can't do all this stuff at level 10. It's impossible, right? So you got to focus on a couple things and really get those things nailed down and consistent. I like to tell people that you need to have 3 active and 2 passive marketing techniques going on at any one given time. This is a passive marketing technique. It might take a little bit of time up front to get it together, but you guys make it really stupid simple for us.
Yeah.
Get that out the door. Start getting some phone calls, figuring out where the holes are. Maybe you're not getting enough phone calls. Maybe you're not strong enough on the phone. Maybe you're not strong enough at the home when you're actually talking to people. Maybe you're not strong enough with how you're valuing properties. Maybe you're not strong enough with your offer. Maybe you're not strong enough with what the repair values are. Figure out what you need to work on, because in the beginning, we all need to work on all that stuff, right? But you're not here to learn this crap. You're here to master it, and you're not going to get to that master level unless you get it out. So if you try to go out and driving for dollars and call every agent, call every bank, and call every attorney, and market your sphere of influence, and try to get 5 different lists and send those out, and try to do Google and try to do Facebook, you try to do all that stuff, I'm going to tell you right now, unless you're Superman, you're not going to get it all done. Okay, all those things are good ideas, and all those things work, but this is something that we could do to just say, I'm going to commit to doing this, and I'm going to commit to doing this for 5 months, for 6 months, and I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to set up the campaign with you guys, and we're going to check in on it once a month to make sure that things are going okay. That's going to be a passive technique that we can do. Your phone is going to ring, and these guys are going to help you do that. Your email is going to ding if you put your website on there as well. But it's one of the harder activities for us to do, because it's just not natural for someone to wake up and say, hey, I'm going to go put mail out today. Because what I see happen is people can clam up and like, okay, well, what list? Well, this, and then they'll think all this stuff and overthink it. What is one of the first things we said in the beginning? Don't overthink this.
Don't overthink
right?
it. Mm-hmm.
You make it more complicated. Like, I'm textbook example. If there's a way to make something complicated, I will make it complicated. That's what Nick Bauer does. And I have to force myself not to make it simple. In fact, that's my theme for last year, was to simplify, because I just overly complicate stuff. It's my human nature, because I think, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Is this a better way to do it? Blah, blah, blah. You have to strip that down. And that's why working with someone like you can really help simplify that process and just get down to, this is the message, this is the list, let's go, here's my money, let's make my phone ring.
Yeah, and when the process gets automated, that's what we really enjoy about our long-term customers that have been with us for years, is that we just constantly put out the mail, make the phone. At a certain point, we start knowing what each other wants, and we barely even have to talk at that point. Well, and let's face it, when they're making that much per deal, they don't mind spending the money for the direct mail. It's making the phone ring. So when we have a new product and they're our partner, and when you're a partner with us, you get first dibs at our new product. So when you're a partner with SSIC and we come out with a new product that hits really, really well, you get dibs on it first before other people do. And so as you're a partner with us and you grow, it can become automated, and you get access to new tools, and it becomes super simple. And suddenly it's not a daunting task. It's just something that makes the phone ring, and it's just part of your business. And let's face it, when we're in business, I don't care what business you're in the business of marketing.
So I was just talking to someone last week, and because he gets this question a lot, he's in education as well. He gets this question a lot by people, what do I focus on? And, well, yeah, there's a lot of things to focus on. You can focus on your priorities. You can focus on your power team. You can focus on your business plan. You can focus on your funding aspects. You can focus on your daily activities. At the end of the day, you need to focus on marketing. You need to get some freaking people that raise their hand and say, please come make me an offer on my house. So the best deals I've done over the years are the ones that we just caught them at the right time. We got the right piece of mail or the right ad out in front of them at the right time. And they were literally done. Hey, please come by my house. I don't want to make one more payment. I don't want to have to do any more repairs. I don't want to have to do this. And you got to get in front of motivated sellers. Sure, you can buy houses from wholesalers. Sure, you can buy houses from agents. Sure, you can buy houses from banks. And those all things work. All excuse me, all the things that we talk about. But the minute that you realize and discover that the better the deal becomes, the closer you get to the homeowner with no middleman, that's when you can start to spend a little bit, invest a little bit of money into your business, just as if you were going to buy a new tool for your carpenter or whatever. I think this is moving up to the top. To me is one of the main things we got to focus on. And I'm so happy that we've got a great, legitimate, aggressive partner with you guys, because you really value the relationship here and you want to make our members successful so that we can continue to grow, you can continue to grow. And it would be awesome if we had 15, 20, 30 people that were in all parts of the town that were just sending out a bunch of mail with you guys. And they were becoming more successful. You guys are getting more business and we grow as a club. That's the whole name of the game here. It's a real true partnership. And I really appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to all the great things we're going to be doing together and helping our members succeed.
Absolutely. Us too.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we're going to call it here. We went a little bit over, but I hope you guys don't mind. I think we covered a lot of ground today. You got one more?
Hey, Corey, why don't you show you one of our newer pieces really quick?
Check this out, Nick. Imagine getting this in the mail. This thing is huge. Here's a large postcard that's sticking in a piece of mail.
Yeah.
But look at this thing. What is that? I don't know. Let's open it up and see. It's enormous.
So,
This
and
is
that's
8.5 by 11. There.
and that's just a play on the while you were out, Pat, of course. We're getting good response on it just because it's cute, right? It's cute. It just gets the attention. But just innovative things like that we're coming up with every day. Pretty cool. But yeah, thank you, Nick. Yeah, we appreciate the time. And oh, by the way, we're giving a package away, a Kickstarter package. We're giving it away at your event for free. We're gonna have a little fishbowl. You just got to pick it, and so people that come, they pick it, and they might get a free starter kit.
That's cool. That's awesome. Congratulations, guys, on your success. I'm looking forward to putting into fruition all the hard work we put in the last couple of months to make this a reality. I look forward to seeing you guys at the event this weekend. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please just let us know. The link is up here, reiprintmail.com/launch/SSIC. It's up there on the chat thing. If you need me to email it to you, I certainly will. Or you can call in and ask for Corey or Ryan. So make sure you mention SSIC to get your 10% discount. I doubt you'll forget to do that because you want to get a 10% discount. But
Right.
yeah, this is great. Guys, any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. Corey and Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks,
You're the man.
Nick.
Be safe, guys. As always, Nick signing off. We'll see you at the top or from the top. Talk to you soon.
Good night, Nick.
See ya.
Take care, guys.